Hi there. Yesterday I had watched Notting Hill again, a DVD bought second-hand while I was in England, and enjoyed it very much. Hugh Grant is just the perfect actor to perform this clumsy, awkward, repressed, but still immensely charming and humorous character British humour is based on. Well, it is not the bizarre and deeply sarcastic version of a Monty Python and offsprings like Douglas Adams, but still, it brought me back to that time when I wrote Douglas Adams's, sixth volume, and had lots of people shouting at me because of that. Among them his own half-brother, let's not forget. So I wonder if I have ever published these pictures here, see on top? Well, if so, I just do it again because it demonstrates that perhaps up to 1 million people worldwide have vaguely yet heard about me and openly hate me if they actually do remember me. Well, why stop now that I'm hating it, right? I only thought Notting Hill was 10 minutes too long, and when I read the critics 10 minutes too long, I was at ease just this once. Well, I know, I'm the kind of guy who always goes the extra mile, yet completely forgets that it is not that much polite to keep people reminding of that all the time. For example, saying I am a very special cab driver, which I am. My town map knowledge is extraordinary, which it is. My cab novels are tremendously good, which they are, but underestimated, which they are. My H2G2 sixth volume is several classes better than the official cover version, which it is. Well, probably also because I had used up all the brilliant ideas for a sequel, what made Colfer then unable to use them himself for copyright reasons, etc., etc. Or I am the kind of guy who has certain clever ways of looking at things. For example, by right I ought to get my license back without any further ado, just handed it over on a silver plate placed at the end of a red carpet, which would only be right and just. Yet people then usually say, oh, in an ideal world, yes, which only implies that they give a feck about an ideal world, or better, making more or less painful attempts to achieve one, or that I have a true and deep insight in politics others don't have, which is true, but it just doesn't really make people happy that I keep saying things like that or am acting like that. Well, more or less it makes them unhappy, rather, because it gives them a nagging feeling that they are just not as clever and smart as I am, but doing steady, regular work instead and not demanding payment for geniality like I do. Like that Polish guy recently who called me a twat and told me to go fuck myself. Well, not a nice thing to do, really. Though I damn well know that people are people. Oh, there is a good saying in German, es liebt der Mensch das Strahlende zu schwatzen. Or something like that. I guess it was Schiller who said that. And we didn't have Schiller nor Goethe in school for reasons of denazification. And instead more Jew payroll writers who blackened the shining Germany to finally make it the festering cesspool it is today. And that people will always be that way. So probably I should just stop being such a twat, meaning expecting too much of people and start to try to be more of the people, more forgiving with them, because I have mistakes too. My unquestionable geniality is mixed with an astonishing stupidity when it comes to handle small things in life. More forgiving with them because you can clearly see a pattern in my behavior, things I will always do. When I think I am right, I start to fight and scratch if hindered, which is probably caused by having had two older siblings that hung and clung together and excluded me any chance they had, and two parents being utterly indifferent about that and more inclined to go on with whatever little amusements they may find along their way, instead of fixing me and my problems and thus helping me to become a more accepting guy. Instead of this, I am right and I fight that third person, I have become, well, because of that. What's this has to do with cab driving? With our job, quite a few might ask themselves now, and mildly raise an eyebrow whilst watching the words cab foreign shimmering on top of their screen. Well, I only can point out one more time. I had been a cab driver in 4 major cities and 3 countries, written 4 novels based on the job that were held in esteem by ex-cab driver and foreign minister and vice-chancellor of Germany, Mr. Joschka Fischer, blogged about the job in 3 countries, was president cab foreigners in 5 countries, with 3 languages, very active in the German one. At times they had to slow me down for not being a twat. Had made an immense amount of proposals regarding the job who were all just neglected, and people just carried on with the same old pathetic garbage that I had just criticised in vain, and now I have acquired road knowledge in Brighton on a world record level. And by the way, we'll do the same thing with Colmar, France, with just fewer roads, the wall and Polybu language. But I will reach for the same level of expertise like I did in Brighton. Acquired brilliant language skills. For a foreigner who wasn't born in this country, my skills in English language push the limits for the standard, not speaking the English so good foreign driver sky high. Here's a little demonstration. 3 Swiss switch bitches, which wishes to be switched. Which bitches? Watch. 3 swatch watches. Which, watch, swatch. Now it's your turn. So that kind of puts me in the place where I'm, sort of an extraordinary driver entitled for a little battling here and then, though I don't really work anymore in this job, for they threw me out for insubordination and got themselves another driver with just 2 or 3 words of German and exotic manners. People used to criticize me for selling my cab books to passengers, yet the Quran they don't fucking mind. Oops, there you go again, did it again, being a complete twat. Hopeless case, really. Well, whatever, you see that I miss England in more ways than just being a driver there. That just has become sort of my personality, and together with the fact I have relatives in America, many of them by now, for they were fruitful and multiplied, yet which I may have twat-wise alienated though a little bit. I'm kind of partly Anglo-American myself, never mind my American accent, though I tend to always take the German side and fight and scratch when it comes to oppressing Germany by said culture. And times when I gleefully think that I have brown-nosed out darn English enough already, friendly shake hands with those telling me I should brown-nose them even more, or stop aggravating them any chance I have at least. Anyway, the thing is, tell you what, I just love this expression. Heard it so many times, almost as much as, can we stop at a cash point on our way? Or my train leaves in 20 minutes, do you think you can make it, mate? Or, so what did you come to England for, mate? Well, English women, of course. Funny, they always laughed at that in an astonished manner. I wonder why. I definitely should come back to England for another go, whether they give me that darn license back or not, for I have many aces up my sleeve to make me rich and famous and surrounded by flocks of women. Only then to preach modesty and restraint, mind you. For you see, England itself has brought this plague upon her. You and the Americans shouldn't have conquered and brainwashed us, filled our heads with Anglo-American culture and language, for it brought forth twat people like me. My oh my.